and going away from the stultifying negativity of the economist and come to the nice warm world of business ethics and organizational behavior.
Thank you for that. And as a student on a business course, I would welcome seeing another paper written like this from a UK or a European perspective in 2021, based on what has unfolded in the last 16 years and how that is viewed. So if you've got time, James, to put that together, I'll be happy to read it. And you can do a qualitative study. So thank you very much for your time today. I very much appreciate it. I know you're a very busy person, and taking time out has been hugely valuable. And this is my very first podcast, so it'll go down in the annals of history of first example of doing a podcast. So thank you for participating in that.
No, you're welcome. And all I can say is that you can only go up from here.
Well, no, I started with the best,
Oh, you smooth talking devil.
Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'd just like to bring to a close this first podcast with a few takeaways from my conversation with James. Firstly, I'd like to just reflect on the fact that I read this paper when I first started my DBA program, and have for the last couple of years been quite concerned about what was written in this paper and its suggestion of the role that academics have played in endorsing and supporting a number of the bad practices that have led to so many business scandals. And therefore, it was really reassuring that James was able to throw a different light on this. He reminded us that this isn't actually his experience, and he's been in academia in the UK and Europe for a considerable period of time, and therefore has obviously a very valid counter-argument to what Ghoshal has shared with us. We've also acknowledged that this paper was written 16 years ago, and perhaps it did reflect the past, but it isn't reflecting what we are experiencing today. James shed some light on a number of things. For example, this might be how things are perceived in the US, but certainly not here. A lot of what was written in this paper is coming out of the Chicago School and Friedman's macroeconomics. And from his experience, that's not what is taught in business schools in the UK and Europe. He also talked about this concept of bad managers. And actually, again, that's not his experience, and that people come to business degrees because they want to get better at being managers. He also drew attention to the fact that there's very little in the paper aligned with organizational and behavioral theory, and that actually a lot of what's been written over the last several decades is more about lessening control to gain commitment. Furthermore, he talks about the fact that culture isn't mentioned in the paper, which would obviously underpin an awful lot of what business organizations and the culture looks like. So it was really reassuring to get some comments and input into what James perceives to be the reality as far as he's concerned. And so I just really wanted to end up with something that Ghoshal wrote in his paper towards the end. It certainly, whilst comes across as perhaps quite pessimistic for quite a lot of the paper, towards the end there is a definite sense that he's looking for change. And he says that we should build management theories that are broader and richer than reductionist partial theories, and goes on to say they should not be built around the dominant model, and that disconfirmation or challenge never dislodges a dominant paradigm, only a better alternative does. So I leave this podcast in the hope that what we are seeing now that's coming through academic channels is about better alternatives, and it's certainly something I'm looking forward to learning more about. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you on my next podcast.